Okay, if you like menus, old vintage menus, then you might enjoy this video. These are from the 1970s. There may be a few 60s, I'm not sure in here, but most likely mostly from the 70s. These menus are from Las Vegas. The Follies Bergier, 1975. This would be at the Tropicana. Now I'm going to put a group of these menus up. They are for sale. They are available. You'd have to come to Kingman, Arizona to pick them up. You'd have to go to the flea market in Kingman, Arizona. All you have to do is leave a message. I will contact you. I will give you some sort of email. Contact me by email. I'll tell you I'll be there on a Saturday in Kingman, Arizona. If you're interested in these menus, it'll be like a lot of them. A lot of 10 or a lot of 20. Each one of these menus, believe it or not, retails for anywhere close to $50 each. So if you bought maybe 20 menus, be anywhere like $100-$150 depending on which ones. Let's get started here. I think what's enjoyable about these menus from the 70s is the prices. What kind of meal and the prices. Now here they had Rip Taylor, 1975 Rip Taylor. $1976 Follies Bergier. Remember back then you got a dinner. With the show you'd have a dinner before the show. Sometimes they have a magician would come out. Joseph, now he was the main guy back then. He was definitely a connected man. He didn't have the reason why he would be running the show like the entertainment division. You would not need a gaming license. So that's why this guy might have more pull than the owner or people with gaming license. He didn't have to have a gaming license. A little Vegas history back in the 70s. Now here's an interesting one. It's Margret. Superstar Theater, Margret. Now this, try to focus, has a wine list. Now doesn't have these. Some of these don't have the menu, but I can assure you there was a nice meal served before the show. But that's pretty cool. Margret on a motorcycle. Superstar Theater. Here's the Stardust. 1971. $1973. 1975. Now here's Benihana, a Benihana menu. This would have been at the Las Vegas Hilton. So now we're going to finally get into some dinner menus. Hibachi chicken, $9.75. That's pretty good. Look at that. Sukiyaki steak, $11. Another Benihana. Not sure where that one's from. Here's one from the Riviera. Now this is a nice restaurant. Delmonico from the Riviera. Appetizers, soups, salads. New York sirloin, $17.50. This might be from the 80s. It's hard to tell. Hard to tell on that one. The prices look like 80s to me. Okay, well, I'll remind you, if you are interested in these, you can email me, message me on the messages. Again, you would have to pick them up in Kingman, Arizona at the 66 Flea Market. It's a really cool place to go to on a Saturday. This is Caesar's Palace, 1979. The Cellars of the Palace. The Celebration Champagnes of France. Now, Dom Perignon, $85. Any gambler would have had that comped. Most of these would have been comped back in the day. You got to remember, a long time ago, Vegas used to take care of their people. So this is the wine list at Caesar's Palace. That's really cool. Monte Carlo. Now, I believe this is the same one. I actually went to this restaurant. If it's the one I'm thinking of in the Desert Inn, it was one of the best restaurants in Las Vegas. The Desert Inn. I mean, this was creme de la creme right here. This one would have been 1985. I believe this is the one in the D. I'm not 100% sure whether if it was Monte Carlo or Monte Cristo. I think it was Monte Carlo at the DI. The one I went to was at the DI. It was one of the white gloves. I mean, it was what an experience that was. When I went in the late 80s to the one in the top of the line restaurant at the DI, they had white gloves. It was just spectacular. And some of the prices here: shrimp and lobster, cocktail, oyster Rockefeller, the escargot. Now this is the one I had. I had this escargot when I was there, because where are you going to find escargot with that quality? Look at the price, $10. Can you believe this? This was about the prices I paid when I went. This was fantastic restaurant here. Unbelievable. I still remember it to this day. Broiled lobster tail, $28. Louisiana frog legs. Can you believe that? $18. Rainbow trout, $18. I mean, this was when Las Vegas was still hanging in there. Early 80s. Las Vegas still had a little bit of its left of what it was. Here's an interesting one by Johnny Russo. I think everybody remembers Johnny Russo. He was the actor. He had his own little restaurant. Now remember, the mafiosi used to hang out at this place at nighttime. Some of the wise guys in Las Vegas would come here to his restaurant. They would hang out at Johnny Russo's place. So this has got a little bit of Las Vegas history to it. Diamond Lils. I believe this was in, was it Sam's Club? Sam's Town. Let's take a look. Yeah, Sam's Town, 1982. So Sam's Town, 1982. Lil's T-bone steak. You don't remember, this is where Red Fox would hang out in the 80s. In the 1980s, I actually met Red Fox here at Sam's Town. He would play Keno. Sometimes he'd play poker. He would definitely eat dinner here. So Sam's Town was a really hot place for the locals in Las Vegas, especially during the 1980s. Sam's Town. So that's got a little bit of history to it. Sombrero Room. I believe this one was at, where was this at? This was the Horseshoe. So this is at the Horseshoe. Let's see some of the menus they got here. Sombrero dinner. Look at that. So now Horseshoe was where you really got good deals for I mean, Benny Binion really knew how to take care of people. And look at these prices. Sombrero dinner, $3.95. Now these are great Las Vegas prices back in the day when Benny Binion took care of people. The Sombrero room. I don't see a date on here, but I can tell you that when Benny Binion was in charge, he knew how to run a gambling hall. Benny Binion would give you a nice price on food. Matter of fact, the gamblers, you won't believe this. If you gambled at the Horseshoe, you got comped breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You see these prices? These prices don't matter because if you gambled at the Horseshoe before, even up to when Jack Binion owned it, up until the day Jack Binion let it go, you got comped 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That went up all the way into the late 80s. Can you imagine how, I mean, those people knew how to run a casino. Benny Binion, Jack Binion, I'm telling you, nobody knew how to run a casino as good as the Binions. Now, last but least, I'm pretty sure this one would have been at the Aladdin. The date on here would have been 1976. Now, let's see some of the prices here at the Aladdin. We'll go to the broiled lobster tails, $15.50. That's not bad. Late 70s prices. Frog legs, $9.50. Where are you going to get frog legs today for $9.50? We're going back in time here, folks. This is a time capsule. We're going back in time. Now you understand why people love old menus. I mean, look at these prices. Look at these prices. This is 1979. This would have been at the old Aladdin. Remember who owned the Aladdin? Back when the Aladdin was opened up, it was opened up by Detroit people. This money, the money to build the Aladdin would have came from the Teamsters Fund. The guys who really owned the Aladdin were definitely from Detroit. Of course, they had, the owner would have had a straw man owner. But I can assure you that the original owners of the Aladdin back in the day were from Detroit. This is history, folks. Las Vegas history. All on the menus. All these menus here for, I don't know, 100, 150 bucks. I have to think it over. They're probably well worth 150. Email me, message me if you want these. All these menus here, 150 bucks. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.